No one was worse for the Rockets than Jalen Green last night. No one. To start off the game the way that he did, what was it? 2, 3, 4 turnovers in the first 4 minutes. Honestly, I'm of the mindset to just blame Jalen for all of them. And to do that, in addition to that, to play none of the last 5 minutes and sit on the bench after talking about how Draymond Green, all he does is talk, only to see Draymond Green's defense ultimately slow down at times, red hot Alperen Şengün down the stretch. I don't think it could have gone worse for Jalen Green. In this series, Green played well game 2. He had 38 points. He seemed confident. In every other game, he hasn't even seemed like much of a role player, despite 31 minutes game 1, 35 in game 2. I don't know why this pop-up decided to pop up in the middle of me reading all the minutes. 39 in game 3. He played just 25 minutes in last night's game. 8 points, 5 turnovers, 3 fouls. So as many turnovers and fouls as points. 1 for 5 from outside, and he really just slunk away from the game entirely. He didn't do anything in the fourth quarter. Just 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 across the board outside of 1 foul. Fred VanVleet, the leader of the 2025 Houston Rockets, was asked about Jalen Green's rough night after the game. Here's what he had to say.
Yeah, he'd be all right. We're not. I mean, I'm not really that worried about it. I don't want to, make it all about him. I'm more concerned about what I could do better. Whatever we talk about, is between us. But just big picture wise, go out guns blazing, unload the clip, and let it fly, and just be aggressive until you figure it out. You know, this is first experience in the playoffs, so teams throw different looks at you. There's a lot of ups and downs. It's a lot that you have to deal with, and I'm proud of how far he's come since I've been here as a player. But we need him to be playing at his best and at a high level. He takes our team to a different gear. So we'll look at the film and see how we can help him be more effective. But again, defenses are going to do what they do to try to take guys out of the game. That's part of the playoffs, and we got to counter that.
There's no denying that the Warriors and their coaching staff and all the experience they have, plus all the experience this Warriors team has figured out what Jalen Green isn't best at. His ball handling is not great. It's not. On top of that, not the best shooter. So there's a lot of stuff that lead to the Warriors saying, hey, we're going to focus on him. If Fred VanVleet beats us, fine. I'd be fine with Fred VanVleet beating me too. You think he's going to get 8 points, 8 threes again in this series? Like, we've seen Fred also have 1 for 15 nights from outside. He is very sporadic in terms of his ability to shoot from outside. Jalen Green, I'm not letting him beat me after a 38 performance in game 2. So the Warriors, they've clearly studied up on Jalen Green. They're probably looking at the fact that he's not the best dribbler with the left hand, and they realize that there are ways that they can get under his skin too. I think of all the Rockets players, I think that he's perhaps been affected the most by the little stuff that the Warriors do to get under your skin, which is interesting because after game 2, I think he said, yeah, we know what the Warriors are trying to do. We know they're trying to get under our skin. Well, he seems to be allowing it to happen the most. And look, he's 23. Still a young player. Does sound like excuses to a degree, but Fred's right from at least this perspective. This is his first playoff performance. I wouldn't say I'm proud of him for this series, but okay, yeah, he's come a long way since the Steven Silas days. No doubt about it. But now you're at a point where he has to be confident in himself. And I don't know how after that game 2 performance that has just completely left him. Didn't see it game 3. Didn't see it game 4. I'm not going to put the entire series on Jalen Green, but he has easily been the most frustrating part of this series. And he makes the decision for the Houston Rockets as far as what they want to do with him going forward very easy. The contract that the Rockets gave him already made it pretty easy. If there's anyone who's going to get moved this offseason, he is the easiest one to move. And this is a guy that, as I've said a bunch, I look at him, best case scenario, as an elite 6th man. I see him as somebody who, because of his inconsistency shooting and his inconsistency from a confidence perspective, I see him as a guy that from time to time is going to be the best scorer on the court for an entire game. But I just don't see it happening enough. Does that not sound like an ideal six man? A guy that you bring in for that spark, and when he gives you the spark, my God, it's Jamal Crawford 2.0. I think best case scenario, yeah, that could be him. He's not there yet, though. And more than anyone, because of him opening his mouth, putting his foot in it, and then having yet another performance where he just seemed too small, he is the easiest person to blame. So I think any criticism that is directed towards him is fair, even though I do realize he's 23 and he's young. I'm curious as to how you guys feel about him. Is it fair to put all the blame on Jalen Green for what happened last night? No, I mean, this was a team loss for sure. You missed 12 free throws as a team, dumb turnovers, terrible start to the first quarter, which largely was Jalen Green's fault. Terrible start to the second quarter. Moments where you just offensively look incompetent. That's been everybody why the Rockets have not looked ready for the moment yet. But more than anyone, I think the guy that's the epitome of that has been Jalen Green. It's a guy that we have expectations for. And what have we got in return for it? One, good performance. Three, whoa, what the hell performances.
Yeah, and you're right that like everyone on this team has had moments where you're just like, woof, like this this welcome to the playoffs, buddy. But the other thing is that, you know, I would say that Alperen Şengün had that moment even in the first quarter of last night's game. He also then scored what 30, 32, whatever he ended up with, and he found a way. Like it's with Draymond off the court, but he just found a way to respond, to actually impact the team winning and to score for a team that needs all the points they can get. You know, Jabari Smith uh has been kind of moved around the rotation, been set off to the side, but when he's in there, like he gets to a spot, he rises and he fires, and he's been a pretty good offense, a pretty good source of offense for some of the like secondary stuff. Nothing gets run through him, but he figures out a way. Like Jalen Green is just the one that just like when it's not game two, he just has not found a way to have like three straight possessions where he does something, or even he just finds a way to get 6 points in an easy it's all like either he is going to score 38 points or you might as well put in Aaron Holiday.
Oh,
I mean, like,
oh.
what is he doing? What is Jalen Green doing that like you can't just like I don't know, just get a different guy in there?
Cam Whitmore, Reed Shepard.
Yeah, just like someone else.
That's the problem. And Ime Udoka was asked, "Hey, what's happening going forward?" And Udoka, this is what he had to say when asked this by Daniel Lerner of the Houston Chronicle.
Now that you are facing elimination, do you give any more serious consideration to changing the starting five?
Yeah, we'll take a look at everything. Obviously, certain lineups have been much better at times, and the poor start to the third really stands out. Obviously, there's a few pieces to it. There's obviously offensive things, and the big lineup goes on, and they rebound well and all those things. But at the same time, we've been really good defensively with that starting unit. Keeping them in the low 20s for the most part and having a lead after most of these first quarters. So doing good defensively there, offensively, got some room to make up for sure.
The odd man out is Green if you want to do something wacky.
Yeah, because Thompson's the other guy who's struggled for most of the series.
But last night he did not.
Yeah.
Last night I thought his confidence was back last night.
Yeah, last night he hasn't. Then that's another thing with like Jalen Green. Just like when he's out, he's just out. Amin Thompson has proven that like, oh, okay, he can find something that works going after smaller guys.
Right.
Trying to get to the basket.
Right. And I mean, look, like Green has more in his portfolio than Thompson does. So the lack of confidence isn't acceptable. We have some comments here from the 713. It wasn't a bad game. That was a no-show. Bad games can be excused. No-shows are acceptable. And there was a back and forth between Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal on Inside the NBA after the game where Chuck brought up, hey, man, we saw the 38-point performance. The other performances aren't acceptable. And Shaq kept on saying, but he's young, but he's young. And then when Charles said, like, man, he had 38 points. And then the other games, he's got 8, 8, 9. And Shaq was like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
And
I
he
mean,
agreed with him.
that's what we're saying. Like, it's not like he's going out there and getting like 15, and we need a little bit more. And it's like, well, he is just hitting some limits of a young player. It's like, no, he is like like you said, like completely no showing. Like
Yeah.
it's just nothing. You're getting nothing from him. So yeah, it is like the most extreme version of what we see in the regular season with Jalen Green, except normally it just like kind of doesn't matter. You just hand wave it because there's another game in 2 days.
It's the kind of thing that if he's playing for a bad team and doing this, no one cares about at all. But because this is now a good team, this changes entirely. And it does make you wonder, is that what Jalen Green is going to be? Is Jalen Green going to be playing for, I don't know, the Portland Trailblazers in a year or so, and he's averaging like 30 points a game, and the Trailblazers are in last place in their division? I mean, it's stuff like that makes you feel like that's what he is, even if that's maybe an unfair way to characterize him. But more comments. 409. If one of your best players plays 24 minutes with only 3 fouls after talking that trash post game, do you really think he's one of your best players? You can't in this series. And then now you like wonder where does he rank, even if talent wise he has all of that. Also from the 346, this ugh. Ant is 23 as well.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards.
Yeah. They're drafted like 6-7 months apart because the COVID draft. So they're Anthony Edwards was in the 2020 draft. Jalen Green was in the 21 draft. There seems to be more than a year of development between them, I'd say.
That's an understatement. And again, you can't coach the dog into somebody. You have it or you don't. Jalen not having it and not having it show up in a series where the Warriors are antagonizing him, much like they're antagonizing everybody.
Well,
it is a bad sign.
What it reminded me of, maybe it's just because he dribbled the ball off his foot early in the game, completely unforced, but it did remind me a little bit of the Jaylen Brown finals. But at least Jaylen Brown was like finding a way to just catch the ball in a spot to score and making one move and going up to score. But there is a little bit of the
Fair.
like he is hitting and again, Jaylen Brown, he was hitting that wall in the finals or against the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals, whereas Jalen Green's hitting it in game 3 and 4 of
a Warriors team that is not the Warriors team of old, even if you respect it.
He's just kind of hitting the like playoff wall of like, no, a playoff defense will make you have to do what you're bad at, and you're just not good enough at it to play not literally play left-handed, but kind of do what you don't want to do.